brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter. Mornings at the cabin.
On a dark morning, it is indeed. Jill nails it again right off the top on your Tuesday morning. Lekter and Ollie with you. No Wheeler with you yet. We'll catch up with him a little bit later on, as of course he begins, well, I guess, is a few days into his brand new quarantine.
He's had a solid few days of it now.
Fresh into the Iron Mountains. So we'll catch up with him, find out how their Corin giving was last night, him and Phoenix, and of course Betty.
Of course.
Real Halloween vibes immediately following Thanksgiving Monday, Tuesday morning in Yellowknife here, starting off minus 4.4 degrees, black outside. The wind is whistling. You can hear that old familiar, you know that winter wind that you get right here in downtown Yellowknife or right down 51st Street in Franklin? It just seems to catch that Scotiabank building just right where you get that.
Oh, it's a full-on whistle. It's first thing in the morning you come in, just in case you needed an audio signal that it is really cold and miserable. It's right there. It
never fails you.
Never fails.
It is there to remind you that it's cold out, in case you didn't catch that already. A little bit of snow over the weekend, as we mentioned. Minus in Yellowknife right now. Nothing but minuses throughout the forecast for the rest of the week. Ollie, winter is here. How are you feeling about that?
You know what? It was interesting speaking to people yesterday. People are saying we're ready. We're ready. This fall has gone on long enough. We've had like 3 weeks of fall. It's unheard of in Yellowknife. And now let's just bring it on. I think I can get on board.
And it's been a nice fall. It's a nice, quick, short summer. Nice, long, drawn-out fall. I think we're ready for winter.
Let's do it.
Bring it on.
Mornings at the cabin, the podcast.
Lekter and Ollie with you on your Tuesday morning, which is the bright side in the fact that it is dark and cold and winter is here, seemingly without question here in Yellowknife. As I mentioned off the top of the intro, minus 4.4 degrees in Yellowknife right now, and nothing but highs of minuses for the rest of the week, according to Environment Canada. But before we get into that, let's recap a little bit of COVID Thanksgiving. That's right, Thanksgiving 2020, something that we were all kind of looking forward to through a bit of a guarded lens, and maybe perhaps some people were not looking forward to it all because, of course, this is the first year we have had to navigate a traditional gathering holiday through the lens of COVID-19, which has been difficult for a lot of people. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving, found a way to make the best of it, as it was pretty much all we could do at this point. We did here at the cabin. We had a little cabin radio Thanksgiving gathering here actually at the cabin. Big thanks to Sarah Price, who's not in yet this morning, for organizing that. Ollie, big thank you to you as well, because I'm sure you had a major hand in that. Thanksgiving was it was a lovely night last night.
It was nice, wasn't it? It was those sort of a small number of people in the largest possible space we could get, and we made it work.
We did.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with how things worked out. I did, and I'm gonna throw you a little bit under the bus this morning.
Oh, good.
So everyone brought, of course, a dish, as you traditionally do with a Thanksgiving, potluck type of situation. But I don't really call it a potluck. We just called it Thanksgiving dinner, and it's just expected that you make a contribution food wise.
Yeah.
So everyone did that. It was lovely. The cranberry sauce, however, it was pointed out that despite the fact that, of course, famously, yourself and Sarah went out a few months ago before the first frost and picked cranberries, natural, beautiful northern cranberries, a wee bit of ocean spray was added to the mix.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Give it a little texture. So you have some big cranberries, some small cranberries, so that it would just look a little bit more visually pleasing, that there were different things going on in there.
But those big cranberries don't belong in nature.
Well, they came from kind of nature.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody grew them somewhere in some massive industrial cranberry facility.
I like to imagine it's just like the commercials. There's two rednecks in giant rubber boots just wading around in a big cranberry pool and just like dumping sugar into it.
Exactly, right? I mean, ever since the guy on the skateboard going down the highway in that video as well with the ocean spray bottle in one side, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Man, that guy's become a celebrity.
Right? So now you have to use Ocean Spray products everywhere.
Okay, fair enough.
So I threw in some cranberries. I don't know. Yeah, that was my first time making cranberry sauce. I've only really even eaten cranberry sauce maybe 3 times in my life as well. So it was a bit of a voyage of discovery.
Right. Okay.
But,
I get it. You were being hip. You were being relevant.
Trying to be on fleek, which itself is no longer on fleek.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Another thing we need to address the elephant that is not in the room because it refuses to enter the room. AJ.
Yeah.
Cabin mom. Not a part of cabin COVID Thanksgiving.
I don't know how to lure him into it. He's not interested. He doesn't like big gatherings, family gatherings, as he calls them. It doesn't matter that we're not family. I keep telling him we're not related.
Yeah.
You understand how this works. We're colleagues.
You're
That's
safe.
very different.
There is no blood relation here.
Yeah. But he won't go for it to the extent where yesterday he dropped off another participant in the cabin radio Thanksgiving, but did not himself enter his own building to partake in it. And there was more than enough food. Maybe he could at least have some leftovers.
Not only dropped off someone else, but someone with a tenuous at best connection to cabin radio.
Barely in the bubble.
We all love E-Man, but we also know he works for a different media source. Now, here at Cabin Radio, we don't have an issue with that. We don't.
Okay. No, we don't have an issue with that.
No. We don't. I mean, we had several actually members from other media sources.
You know what? Yeah, that's true.
In the building. So clearly showing that we don't draw the line at different media sources.
Yeah,
here
it's just our own media source that we seem to have trouble getting into the building.
Right.
Yeah.
We like to bring everyone together. But yes, E-Man walked into the room. We were like, "Oh, hey, E-Man, sit down, grab a plate, load up. We've already eaten, but we were
a little bit late, but you know what?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if he was being expected or
no, he was expected.
He was expected.
He was
okay.
expected.
Okay. Either way, I mean, he was certainly welcome.
Yeah.
And
hey, man, did you see AJ on your travels?
He says, "Yeah, he dropped me off."
Oh.
So he drove to the cabin. Dropped off his roommate and then left.
AJ.
So I have a theory.
Okay.
Because I mean, you can't just not like Thanksgiving.
No.
I mean,
what's not to like?
There's obviously something that
It was such
happened.
a great cheese board. J-Bear brought
God,
a great
amazing
cheese board. It was amazing. All the food, all the snacks, the desserts were amazing. It was great.
The company was fantastic.
Why would you not come to this? Anyway, your theory.
So my theory, because something clearly happened, and I think it's beyond just the fact that perhaps he didn't spend the majority of his life. It wasn't necessarily a tradition to gather around Thanksgiving dinner, much like it was not for you. However, you carried the festiveness in your heart.
I did.
You were a joyful company.
I nursed it.
Happy to be there. I think the only thing you were missing was like a soothing red cardigan.
Oh, that would have been nice, actually.
Yeah, right?
Now that you say that, I'm like, even this morning I would take a soothing red cardigan. It's
I mean,
a little
anytime.
chilly in here.
Yeah, this is cardigan season. We are in right now, full scale. But I have a theory that perhaps AJ being the caregiver that he is, that is naturally what is in his heart.
It's true.
He takes care of us here at the cabin, and we so appreciate him for it. I think maybe 1 year, it could be way off, 1 year, he decided, you know what? I'm going to get into this Thanksgiving thing. I am going to host a Thanksgiving dinner. And then he, of course, that part of that to take upon is making the Thanksgiving turkey, which of course is the centerpiece of any great Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
I think he messed up a turkey. I think he went head on into it, said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to embrace this holiday tradition, find out what people like so much about it. I'm going to create my own Thanksgiving. And he decided to take that on. And I think he butchered a turkey.
I mean, you're supposed to butcher a turkey. That's the whole point.
I
mean,
in a metaphorical.
Definitions of the word butchering go. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to carve it nice. I mean, I guess a butcher really does do that.
You're supposed to butcher something.
Yeah.
This is the moment to butcher a thing.
Butcher really gets a bad rap just by the very name of it. Because,
there must be butchers going around going, I'm actually really quite precise. Thanks.
Yeah, that's right. I don't make a mess of anything. You want me to carve your turkey. I am a butcher.
My whole job is precision with knives. I am essentially a surgeon. Do you see people go around being, oh, you've made a right? You've really surgeoned that.
Okay.
No.
I apologize to butchers everywhere.
Yeah.
The fine folks at Northern Fancy Meats, they can give you the nicest cuts of meat. Free plug for Northern Fancy Meats.
Wow, they really butchered this turkey at Northern Fancy Meats.
But maybe he burnt it.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe he just didn't. I don't
Dried
know.
it right out.
Dried it right out. Yeah. Maybe dropped it on the floor when he was pulling it out of the oven for the final presentation moment.
Dre came along, smushed his nose right into it,
screamed behind him, scared him.
Yep.
Dropped the turkey. There's got to be something there.
Maybe. I mean, turkey. It's easy to go wrong, right? It's easy to go wrong.
Yeah.
You got that whole turkey thing. You're reading up online. How many minutes per pound? And it's, depending which website you click on, it's everything from half an hour to 12 minutes. So
Yeah.
okay, 19 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah.
You put that into a calculator. You put that in the oven. You put the turkey in there. You're sort of expecting to wait 5 hours for it to be cooked. You take it out 45 minutes. And it's already cooked. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Now what do I do?
I do have to say I attended 3 Thanksgiving gatherings this weekend. Just hit them all. Saturday, Sunday, Monday nights.
Wow.
And every turkey that was made was absolutely perfect. It was amazing. Great Thanksgiving, other than the small gathering limits, but, it is what it is. 2020 sucks, and we've all accepted that by now. And I really thought AJ would have come in to defend himself by now, but he just hates Thanksgiving that much.
He doesn't want any part of it on the air, off the air, doesn't matter, not doing it.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast, where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Now that we are through Thanksgiving, I mean, we may go back and talk about it once again because it's a lovely holiday and a lot of people didn't quite get to do it right. Of course, this year it was pretty tough to go home and see family. So that was a bit of a damper on things. Hopefully some people who had the opportunity to go do it and have the working situation where they can safely self-isolate, and maybe haven't seen family since before last Christmas, got a chance to go home. Or maybe you're saving that up for Christmas. I don't know what your plans are, but either way, I hope that COVID is not getting too much in the way. But with that in mind, we were just talking about flu shots off the air. Ollie came back into the studio to find me scrambling through my messages to try and find when Nicole had booked our flu shots. Of course, clinics popping up, and it is the season, Ollie. Do you have your flu shots booked?
I do, and that's the first time in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That kind of shocks me a little bit.
Because
Is this a permanent residency thing? You can't get flu shots if you're not a Canadian citizen?
No, but it is a different country background thing, I think. Because in the UK, the flu shot tends to be reserved for vulnerable populations.
Right. That makes sense.
Like seniors get issued a flu shot, things like that. But generally speaking, I can't recall there ever being a sort of everybody should get this campaign.
Right. Yeah.
So you just kind of didn't as a young adult in the UK. But I get the feeling that it's certainly here in the NWT, maybe in the rest of Canada. I don't know. It feels more like a sort of anyone can play kind of activity.
Yeah, and I think it's generally recommended, and especially in smaller communities like this where the flu can get through an entire population a lot quicker than it perhaps can in larger populated centers. I mean, although there is the population density thing where I would think in the UK that it would have been more encouraged to get the flu shot. I mean, I'm sure there is, an availability type of thing where obviously you want to take care of the elderly and possibly those who are, just more likely to get the flu and it to have a devastating effect. I'm sure there's a concise word for that that's just not coming to me right now.
Yeah. So they've got their reasons. They got their big words, whatever they want to do. But yeah, for the last few years, I've been thinking, oh man, it's kind of weird that I'm not getting this flu shot because it seems like other people are.
Yeah.
And then we get to this year, and you start to think, well, Ollie, if there's got to be a year to break this duck, it's probably going to be this year.
2020, the year for a lot of firsts, including Ollie's first flu shot. Well, this is kind of exciting in a way. Another
feel
one.
that exciting.
No,
not
it's
gonna
not.
lie
I
to
mean,
you.
not
going to lie to you. Not that exciting.
not in the traditional sense, but in a 2020 sense, where the slightest and oddest of things are becoming exciting and interesting. But nevertheless, like 2014, one of your first years here in Yellowknife, we took you trick or treating for the first time.
Yep,
that was very exciting. You probably had your first Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to guess a few years ago. When was your first Thanksgiving dinner? Oh wow!
Yeah, I remember that.
Preceding your Yellowknife years.
I remember that very well. Yeah.
Okay.
It would have been.
Wow.
I mean, it might have even been before that, but that's the first one when I was actually resident in Canada.
Right.
Was 2012. Yeah, I remember going around somebody's house and it was a big potluck kind of thing, and it was great fun. But the whole, not really sure I'm going to put the flu shot in that category. I'm just not sure it's really doing it for me. I really don't like needles like that. I really don't like needles.
Yeah.
And my arm already, I mean, I'm assuming that's where they're going to put it. I don't know what your crazy country does with
Generally,
this stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Unless there's something wrong with your arm. I mean,
yeah.
the
Well, there
rump's
will
a
be
nice
afterwards.
big meaty spot, right?
I can already feel my arm kind of just tensing up at the thought of that happening. So, yeah, it's not going to be a great day. Not going to lie to you. Not a massive fan of that whole process, but I'm going to do it, and I will at least, I suppose, feel happy that I'm doing my bit and looking after myself and others as well.
Yeah.
Which seems like a thing. I mean, I'm not the only one, because they sold out of booking times in Yellowknife inside 2 days.
Yeah.
Right? They had 1,000 appointments, and inside 48 hours, everyone had taken them.
Yeah.
Then they went back and added more, and everybody went and took all of those.
Yeah.
So right now, I think they're booked up until the first week in November.
Right.
And then they'll sort of figure it out from then onwards. But clearly, there is enthusiasm in the market for the flu shot this year.
Yeah. And I mean, it always is a sort of thing that's not, there's a lot of people throughout the years up until 2020, there was a lot of varying thoughts on the flu shot because, of course, we pretty much know that the flu shot is based on public health's best guess as to what is going to be the dominant flu strain that hits the general population.
I mean, not to bring AJ back into this, it's based on Australians.
Is it now?
Yeah, because they have their winter at the opposite time of year. So they are usually seen as the precursor for what the Northern Hemisphere's winter flu season will look like.
Okay.
So people keep an eye on what flu strains do the rounds in the Australian winter,
Makes sense.
That informs the vaccine for the Northern Hemisphere.
Interesting. Did not know that. But that makes sense that we would take our cues from somewhere else. But because of that, a lot of people kind of, have hesitations because they're like, well, this might not even be the strain that's going around. Of course, 2020 has brought a whole new scope to the flu shot thing where, on top of the, well, maybe I should get it just to, perhaps keep the rest of my community safe or, make myself less likely to catch it. And then, I'm not worried about getting it, but I'll be less likely to spread it to others. There's a whole nuisance angle in 2020 where if you just suddenly have flu-like symptoms, you might not even have the flu, but if you got flu-like symptoms, there's a whole new thing where you are just expected to drop everything because, of course, it may or may not be COVID-19. So obviously, it's a definite thing where people are taking it a bit more seriously, regardless of their actual thoughts towards, in the influenza strain.
And when you look at the spectrum of advice available from people in positions of authority, from get the flu shot this year to inject disinfectant, I feel as though this one feels like the safer bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're probably onto something there. So you got your first flu shot. We're probably not going to make a video of that because it's not quite as joyful and happy as previous Ollie's first in his life excursions that we've had here on Cabin Radio.
Maybe not going to be a TikTok even for that one.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
you should check us out on TikTok, by the way. We've got like 700 followers now. There is some good stuff on our TikTok.
How is that dance battle, by the way? I haven't been following
the dance battle's doing okay.
Are we winning still?
I will say right now that there is a great little video involving a tampon on our TikTok. You should check that out.
Say no more. Just watch the video.
Just watch the video.
There you go.
Tampon and a chainsaw. What more do you want? All in one video.
Cabinradio.ca to read the story on the flu shots and perhaps keep a lookout for more flu clinics where you can get your shots booked. I will tell you this right now, Ollie. After your first flu shot, the worst part is going to be the next day because your arm is going to be really sore.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
We say good morning to Mr. Andrew Goodwin. Good morning, AJ.
Good morning, Lekter.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. After a long weekend, feel well rested.
Well rested. Well,
Yeah.
That's good. Of course, we have now got you into the studio against your will because you knew that this was happening, that we were going to talk about why you hate Thanksgiving.
Yes, and I do enjoy how subtle things around here get blown out of proportion.
Whatever do you mean?
Always seems to be me at the receiving end of this.
Well, you hate so many like cute, innocent,
Hate's a strong
harmless things that normally put a smile on people's face, maybe even bring people together. Puppies, Thanksgiving, children. I'm gonna guess.
Nope.
You like children?
I'm
Your thoughts
oddly
are okay?
very patient with children.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoy hanging out with
I mean,
children.
you're fairly patient with Penny as well.
Yeah,
There is a definite rivalry there.
there is. There's a bit of beef.
It's a love-hate relationship. I mean, it'll go between Penny doing something that just enrages you to an hour later when the inevitable apology happens. Because Penny, despite her shortcomings as a dog, she is very good at apologizing.
She knows when she's done wrong.
She doesn't have an enormous sense of pride.
No.
Possibly no pride, actually.
Yeah, because she knows she's done wrong the second she does it.
Yes.
She'll do the deed and then go straight onto the desk in preemptive punishment.
Yeah.
But then, later on, we get over it. And
You'll have a cuddle. And
we're buddies again. Yeah, exactly.
You
But
hug it
we've
out.
got a history. I've taken care of Penny. Penny lived with me.
Yes.
So, there's a bit of a history there, which, it's, give and take.
She respects your authority. She just tries to find ways around it.
Yeah, she respects it, just doesn't, listen to it or obey it by any means.
Right. Okay, so the Penny thing is understandable. There is a definite rivalry, but a love between the two.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, on the other hand, I don't quite understand where the tension comes from. Now we had a lovely cabin radio, a small gathering here for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We had several hosts brought in dishes. Good times were had by all. It was a lovely event, and then of course your lovely roommate E-Man showed up.
Yep.
And he walked in. We were like, E-Man, hey, welcome, happy Thanksgiving. Sit down, grab a plate, load up with some turkey, and then we asked, so what's AJ up to? Is he just being sad at home? And I said, no, he drove me here, actually. And then he took off.
Yeah, he needed a ride. So I dropped him off. I figured if I came up.
So you were already here.
Yes, but picture this scenario. I didn't really want to have dinner. It has nothing to do with you guys. I just didn't want to.
You didn't want a nice, home-cooked Thanksgiving dinner.
I had a home microwaved dinner.
Oh.
And it was still turkey, and I still got all the good stuff.
Was it a hungry man dinner?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was E-Man's Thanksgiving dinners,
Oh.
leftovers from his parents' house.
Oh,
So I still had Thanksgiving dinner. Still celebrated on my own.
okay.
But I figured if I drop him off and I come up,
Right.
then I'll really get... Because what am I going to do? Come up and be like, okay, well, have fun with your friends, E-Man. Give me a call when you need a ride home. Bye. I mean, imagine that scenario.
I mean, yeah, that would have been weird. I
would have
don't
been
disagree with you. But
So I
the
would have
alternative.
I would have been forced to stay for this dinner.
Oh, my God. How terrible.
You would have to grab me, hold me down, and make me go to this dinner. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think maybe there's a lot of theories I have, but one of them is growing up, we did a lot of formal dinners.
Right.
Like my parents always dragged us to these formal dinners. They were in, a dining room, quote unquote, which is essentially a room in our house that never got used, maybe once or twice a year. And it was a bunch of stuffy old adults talking about stuff. And I hated every single minute of it.
Right.
every single time.
There was
without
no
fail.
kids table, other kids.
Sometimes there were kids, and you play in the basement or whatever, but it was, like, not your friends. It's like your parents' friends' kids.
Right. And
so even that was weird.
To,
or they'd be really young, and I was kind of babysitting. So the whole experience of this stuff, I'm like, it's not for me.
Okay.
And then as an adult, with family, I love family dinners. One of my favorite things.
Right.
But I obviously don't get to do that very often. And then I've had a couple groups of people in Yellowknife that I was really close to, and I had that family dinner feeling, so I loved going there. But outside of that, I'd rather not. That's my final statement is I'd just rather not.
So you have some people that you like having nice gatherings and dinners with, just not
my direct family.
These people.
Yeah, just not these people. You get it.
Okay.
You were there last night. I mean, you get it.
It was lovely. I had a wonderful time was had by all.
I'd rather the time to myself on a long weekend. I just didn't want to socialize. I just wanted to sit on the couch and do nothing.
By the way, just a quick aside from AJ's sadness to mention that you are not hearing the voice of Ollie Williams because he has stepped out to go get an 8 a.m., possibly 8:30, because I just saw him walking down Franklin Avenue, which reminded me of it. An 8:30 haircut.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Is he meeting someone in the alleyway?
Is that where we get haircuts
This
now?
is a shady underground haircut.
I don't know.
Is that a legal number 4 he's getting on the sides? Doesn't look like it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll follow up on that. Ollie Williams, morning haircut. Very strange. But back to AJ. I figured there had to have been something. That you couldn't just like have an irrational hatred of Thanksgiving, because I mean, in essence, it's no different than Christmas.
No, and it's not even,
especially when you're an adult.
It's not even Thanksgiving. I honestly do the same thing at Christmas.
Right. Really?
I get invited over to people's houses, and I just think, you know what? It's your family. I don't need to be a part of it.
Is it just too much happiness? Is it an overload?
It is
of happiness.
I don't like happiness.
I can understand that
as a general thing. I just don't like it.
Well, there's an overstimulation side to it, right?
Yeah. You're not hungry when you're happy. You know what I mean? If you're miserable, you've got the drive.
I've never made the correlation there, but perhaps.
Yeah. See, if I'm happy, I'm going to take my foot off the pedal. Right? I don't want that. I keep a little bit of misery in my life.
Okay.
I've got that drive, that motivation.
So you're worried if you're surrounded by love and happiness and warmth, you're gonna lose your appetite.
That's it. Then I'm done. I'm not looking for love anymore.
And then that becomes the awkward like elephant in the room. It's like there's all this great food around. Why is this guy not eating? Mm-hmm. What's his deal?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that guy
because I'm not hungry.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I thought maybe you had tried to do a Thanksgiving dinner one time and messed up the turkey or something, because that would be traumatizing.
It would be. I've never actually had to host. I've hosted Thanksgiving dinner a long time ago, but I didn't cook anything. I literally just said, we can use my place.
Here's a house. I'm going to go to my bedroom.
I'll
be alone.
Room. Yeah.
You guys enjoy.
Text me when you're done.
And I'll gladly clean everything out.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we love you, AJ, despite your aversion to love.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
And now Sarah Price joins us in Studio One. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning after hosting what was a lovely Thanksgiving that AJ wanted no part of last night?
Pretty good. I mean, it'd be better if AJ had actually come.
I know, right? He's such pleasant company.
I don't think that's true. It's just convenient for you to say right now, isn't it?
Well, while he's right in your face, right? Yeah, I mean, kind of got to be nice.
I guess so.
Is there anything special about today, Sarah?
Today?
Yeah.
No?
There was something special also about yesterday. I don't know if you want this brought up on the air.
But we're bringing it up.
It was Sarah's birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! That was relatively on key.
I think we did well.
Wow.
I'm looking
Lovely
forward to
job.
hearing that back.
We didn't even sing the note.
Instantly went selfish.
Happy birthday.
Wished her happy birthday and then went straight to, man, you did really good there. I love your tone.
Anyway, on to other things. No, that very happy birthday, Sarah. You're young enough that I don't think you can get away with not revealing your age. How old are you today?
28.
28 years old.
Oh, to be 28 again.
Oh, just the age where
30-year-olds over there.
Yikes.
Well, you're just approaching the age where you start to get taken seriously. So congratulations. 28 years. And you made it through 27. Not part of the
I spent
27
most
club.
of 27 thinking I was already 28 for some reason. I kept forgetting how old I was and adding a year. So now I'm actually that age.
So you're mentally prepared for this already.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I
That's
don't always
important.
do well with birthdays, but I think I handled this one all right.
Good.
for you.
Good. Well, the darkness has slipped away here on this Tuesday morning, but we got a message early this morning saying there are Christmas lights apparently already in Samba K Park, and the strobe lights they've put up make it really hard to see the stars or the aurora. Please give the city hell for this. Thanks very much. That was a message from Benjamin. Thank you for that, Benjamin. I don't know. I didn't notice. Now, when I walk to work, I walk up 51st Street, and I generally see the the aurora that flashes across the top of City Hall. I see that on my walk to work, but I didn't notice through that street down that way. I didn't notice any Christmas lights. I don't know if I just couldn't see them from that area. I also couldn't see them from the Studio One window. Of course, we're blocked by the old Harley's building. Have either of you noticed this? Have they got the Christmas lights going already?
I haven't been down that way in a while, but I have not noticed anything. Wouldn't
No.
surprise me, though.
I know they
If I
install
had
them.
Christmas lights, I would put them up before it got cold.
Would you turn them on though? I think that's the key
Maybe.
different. Like, because I'd imagine they're up, but I can't imagine them turning it on until after Remembrance Day, I guess.
Right. Oh, Penny has just dropped the ball in Studio One, metaphorically and physically. However, would you now? This is a question. Are you one of these people who would just never take your Christmas lights down? You just wouldn't
No.
turn them on until
No, I'd probably wait to turn them on, but I would take them down.
you would take them.
You take
down.
them down? Oh, I went through this whole. I do it in the summer. I use a ladder and put them up, and that's it. They're there forever. I'll sell the house with those lights.
There are two very different kinds of people.
Yeah.
The kinds of people who put their Christmas lights up every year and take them down at the end of Christmas. Along with the rest of your decorations. And then there's others who you get a new set of lights and they're up.
Yeah,
They're
people
up.
who are wrong and people
They
who are
never
right.
come down.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like garden lights and like soft, warm lights, kind of like outside the brew pub. I would do
Right.
that and just leave them up all year round.
Right.
Okay.
I call them Christmas lights in the winter.
That was what I was going to ask next. Would you just then adapt those to the season and just say those are my Christmas lights? What?
These are my garden lights.
Just
These
because
are
I-
my Easter lights.
That's
Okay.
right.
So you're not going like a red and green combo then?
Yeah.
Nice white light, LED, something like,
Just because they were on in April doesn't mean they're not Christmas lights in December of the next year.
Yeah. They're technically called fairy lights, and then it's just, they
Well, that's
just
nice.
become Christmas lights around the Christmas season.
Right.
Who are we to say,
Okay. Well, I don't know that we're adequately giving the city hell for this as requested.
I don't think
by
we
Benjamin.
have this weird power that people think we have. Cabin radio, go get them. We're
Right.
not some animal that would you just sick us on the government.
I mean, we can do that.
Unless it comes to rocks that they put in the middle of the boulevard and then we write story.
Yeah, we
after
really-
Oh,
story
yeah.
after
really got
story.
him on that
Yeah, we get him.
They
on
move
that
the
one.
rocks, they put them
Yeah.
back. They move the rocks, they put them back.
What do you
Write a
want
story
from us,
every
Cabin
time.
Radio? What do you want? We can't keep doing this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to keep a lookout to notice, whether the Christmas lights are up. This is kind of a thing that there's an unspoken barrier zone of course, Remembrance Day with regards to Christmas, and I think it's more to do with Christmas shopping. People get really upset when stores do like Christmas sales and they start putting up Christmas banners and all that, promoting the sale of Christmas season before Remembrance Day happens. And I can get behind that. I'm always like, that seems like, after November 11th, you've got a month and a half
That's
to
more than
promote
enough.
Christmas.
More than enough.
Capitalism will survive. It's okay.
One day after, that's it. Like October 31st, the next day, Remembrance Day, November 12th, Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why they're there.
But the lights
To
and
set
stuff.
benchmarks.
That's right. Yes. But the
Not
lights
for
and the,
loving gatherings or whatever you
Yeah.
want to do.
It
It's
might-
to benchmark the calendar.
it also might be a little early to. I mean, you're kind of disrespecting Halloween, are you not? By putting Christmas lights up right after Thanksgiving,
Unless they're orange.
unless there. I mean, there might
Boom.
be some orange in there, but
Yeah.
I mean, that
It
red,
would
that
just be
green,
weird.
it's too joyful for Halloween.
Unless you're dressed up as Santa Claus. Maybe that's your Halloween costume.
Well,
Is that a faux pas?
That's just, now you're just getting crazy. I think maybe it's time we end the show, AJ, before you just go completely off the rails.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.